Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast with me, Matthew, and as always, I am joined with...
Hello, it is Scott here. Hello.
I forgot your own name. And it is the
No.
end of the month of... What month are we in? October.
You forgot
the
the
spookiest month.
You forgot the
and
month.
that
so
means
that's even worse than forgetting your own
months
name.
are less important. Months are less important than your own name. And that means at the end of the month, it is time for our news roundup, where we look at all of the wonderful and slightly awful news in the Doctor Who world from the past however many weeks, 4 or 5 weeks since the last episode, and we condense it all into one easy to digest, probably way longer than an hour episode this week, because there's a lot of news to discuss. And we're going to open up this episode with some sad news, just to get you in the mood for listening to everything Doctor Who. And that is R.I.P. Michael Gambon. And this article doesn't want to load for me.
It's a good start. I say
Harry Potter, there we go, I got it. Harry Potter star Sir Michael Gambon dies aged 82. The actor who played Albus Dumbledore, Sir Michael Gambon, has died at the age of 82. He's also was in that episode of Doctor Who. Which one? The Christmas one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Christmas
the
Carol.
Scroogey
Yes.
one. Yes. The award-winning actor began his acting career after leaving school with no qualifications. He went on to become a household name, starring in The Singing Detective early on in his career, and latterly his role in the Harry Potter films earned him a new generation of fans. We don't really like to discuss Harry Potter too much on the show for obvious reasons.
Except this is
but
the
I
second
did
week in a
enjoy
row
him.
where we've mentioned Harry Potter.
Can't escape it. I did enjoy his performance as Dumbledore. There's definitely been some criticisms of his performance as Dumbledore and the way that he presented
Oh yes,
Dumbledore
that
and
one.
how different it was from the book. That, specifically that one scene where he
Yes.
comes charging into a room, isn't it?
Although I guess I would
but
be, I would be more on the director, make the scene more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get, exactly. It's also you're delivering it for a new audience, and it's a visual medium. Like watching someone casually stroll into a room, you're like, oh, there's no danger here, it's fine. Whereas if Dumbledore of all people comes charging in, going, oh my God, what have you done? Suddenly you're like, oh crap, he's done something bad. What's very funny, I guess, on the BBC News website is they have what I presume is a memorial video that has been removed for rights reasons. The BBC got struck with a copyright strike, which is very funny.
And it's been like that for ever since the news broke, like half an hour after the news broke, and they've never replaced it, not even with like a still image of him. It's a very bare minimum article. It's very strange. But an incredible loss. He was a really good actor, of course. He was in movies like Toys. Have you ever seen Toys, starring Robin Williams?
Oh God, have I Toys movie? No, I've never seen Toys starring Robin Williams and LL Cool J.
LL Cool J plays Michael Gambon's son or nephew or something. It's the most bizarre movie of all time. It's such a weird film. It's
interesting.
It's coming up to Christmas. You might as well watch it. It's very interesting. It's mental.
It's got a 29% and 39% audience score.
It's just
like a colorfully over-engineered Guga on the shelf. Toys might look like fun, but its seemingly limitless possibilities lead to mainly to confusion and disappointment. Oh, this sounds ace. This sounds fantastic.
Yeah, confusion is the right way. I've watched it probably like 3 or 4 times in my life, and it's just a weird film, but it's visually interesting. Michael Gambon plays this owner of a toy factory, but he's also like a military man, so he's like, let's build all the military toys, and then they build all the military toys, but Robin Williams is like, no,
so
I don't
like
want
toy
all
soldiers.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Little
Yeah.
soldiers, yeah.
Toy soldiers, it was called.
No,
Small soldiers.
Small
That was it. Small soldiers.
Yeah, we were both
Small
wrong.
soldiers. I got there. Yeah, we were both wrong. Small soldiers. Great movie. The main kid in that movie is insufferable. Absolutely insufferable. It's
Alan,
perfect.
I love Alan. But yeah, he was also.
No, you watch it again. You do not love Alan.
But yeah, he was also in a million other things like Fantastic Mr. Fox, Dad's Army the movie, Paddington, Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I don't remember him being in that, but he was apparently in it. The worst Kingsman movie.
I don't remember much from I don't remember much from the Golden Circle. I remember enjoying it. I never saw the prequel either.
Never did I.
It's an okay series.
Yeah, the first one was really good, but the second one not so much. But Michael Gambon, such an incredible career. There's a million other things, and just Doctor Who happens to be just one of them. And he was fantastic in that Doctor Who episode. He didn't phone it in. He was phenomenal in that one episode. Great, great actor.
I remember it being I remember it being a really fun episode. Maybe one we'll have to revisit at some point in a holiday season. Not this coming holiday season. There's too much Doctor Who already. But yes, rest in peace.
Yes, and speaking of too much Doctor Who.
Yeah, speaking of too much Doctor Who, we have release dates, don't we?
Oh,
Woohoo.
yes.
Do you want to take the first release dates while X.com refuses to load for me? I mean, Twitter.com.
Yes.
I mean, X.com. I mean, what's this website called?
Just an hour ago, pretty much, we got the release dates for the 60th anniversary specials. They will air weekly from the 25th of November. So that's slight.
Which is not good for us.
Yes. We were banking on the fact that it would probably come out on the 11th of November. 11/11 is far more of a catchier release date than 25/11, but it's whatever. I'm fine with the 25th of November. I don't care. It's just we had to wind up getting some filler in,
Yeah, I guess that they want to limit the space between the 60th and the Christmas special so that there's not this huge month-long gap. Instead, it's going to be a week, 2-week gap?
Yeah, I think 2 weeks. The last one's on the 9th. 2 weeks and 2 days.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, so hardly any gap at all, which, yeah, it makes sense for it to come on the 25th of November and then the next Doctor on the 25th of December. That's some fun synergy right there.
Yeah, we're 1 month away from the 14th Doctor, and then exactly 2 months away from the 15th Doctor. Insane.
Yeah. Exactly on the day that we're recording this. We are recording this on the 25th of October, so, it is... That's insane to think about, that we are so close to 2 brand new Doctors. Yeah, God. But they've also released some posters for the episodes as well. With the first episode, The Star Beast, with, I think, maybe one of the better posters. I think the 3 posters are fine. They're kind of cool, but everyone's face is fake.
Yes.
They all have AI faces. And I'm like, what has gone on with every single person's face? It's got so many filters and so much Photoshop to remove blemishes and wrinkles. David Tennant looks like he's had 5 years plastic surgery done on him in the last 10 minutes.
He looks like Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, he does. It's insane how just surreal they look. Yeah, but still, the Star Beast,
one of the selling points to the 60th anniversaries is the fact that it's the Doctor, but he's 15 years older now. It's Catherine Tate, but she's 15 years older now. And they make him look so young and so plastic-like they're autons. Maybe that's part of the plot. Maybe they're autons. Maybe we just stumbled onto something.
Yeah, maybe it's all a dream inside the Nestene consciousness, and that's the twist.
But yeah, of course, airbrushing has been a standard in the film and television industry for so long, and it's kind of disgusting. It's kind of it's not great.
Yeah, it is bad. It is bad. But I think Catherine Tate looks okay. She doesn't look fake. She definitely looks photoshopped, but she doesn't look fake. Whereas if you look at the poster for the second episode, which is the one with the title I don't remember and the one we know the least about,
Wild Blue
plot-wise. Yeah, Wild Blue Yonder. David Tennant's face doesn't look like David Tennant's face. That looks like somebody else.
My favorite,
it's insane.
My favorite poster is probably the third one. I just like the composition of all the he's kind of like Gambit from the X-Men. Just all the cards are coming directly towards us as if they're going to give us a paper cut or something.
Yeah, I like that one as well. But again, David Tennant's dead face staring into my soul. Like he looks like a cartoon in this one. Like his eyes are massive. Like it's insane. But I do like that one. I mean, the color on all of them is great.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the first and the third one share a lot of themes color-wise. There's a lot of red and there's a lot of blue. And a lot of gold going on, whereas the second one, surprisingly enough, Wild Blue Yonder, has a lot of blue and is a very cold-looking poster. And also has this funky robot dude, which we've not seen anywhere before.
Yeah,
who's this dude? Where's he come from?
Yeah,
like
well, somebody just described him as like an egg cup man robot,
an egg man,
egg cup man, robot man.
He reminds me of the robot from the Hitchhiker's to the Galaxy movie.
Yes, another Harry Potter actor who
died.
Like well, Michael Gambon died at a reasonable age. Alan Rickman died way too young.
Alan Rickman was way too young. Absolute tragedy.
But yeah, we also have a tagline for the Wild Blue Yonder: "Farther than ever before." So interesting. What could be further than?
Do you think they're gonna do multiverse stuff?
Possibly. Like,
into the Wild Blue Yonder, maybe they go like into a star or into a portal of some kind, and then things get really trippy and weird.
Yeah,
and that's where this whole like keeping it a secret comes from, because maybe the 14th Doctor is, because there's been a lot of rumors swirling of like David Tennant's not going to actually regenerate into this version of the Doctor, and maybe that's because this version of the Doctor is from a different universe.
Maybe
maybe this is Wild Blue Yonder thing is. I mean, I hate that idea as well. I hate every idea that isn't the Doctor just regenerates.
Yeah.
But
we have no idea what the Wild Blue Yonder is, but I think it might be a secret because maybe it's the one with the most cameos. Maybe Susan is in it somehow, and the multiverse angle might play into it. Maybe it's another Susan, which I hope not. I'm kind of sick of the multiverse angle at the moment. There's too much of it going on.
Same, but it is cash money right now.
Yeah.
Cash money, multiverse. Or it's either going to be that, or maybe it's something like the Doctor going back through his timeline. He's going back and he's trying to solve a problem or something.
Yeah.
Like he's revisiting through his past lives, and that's where all the cameos and stuff are going. And then, he runs into Clara, obviously, because she'd be there as well, going through his past life.
Kind of like the Big Bang, but even bigger. The bigger bang.
the very Big Bang.
But yeah, these posters are okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen worse posters.
They're decent. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's more promotional material that gets me excited. Disney Plus has also started promoting the show. They released a trailer which has got a few new shots. Most importantly, a shot that has got Mr. Name in my head, which is there at the tip of my tongue. Neil Patrick Harris. I thought of it all by myself. Running towards the frame.
And what it depicts here is a blue circle around someone in this image. And people are pointing out that this is probably Mel. It's Mel, and she's coming here early because we already know she's going to be in Series 14. And this might be reading that she's in the specials, because this is obviously in Unit HQ, and we know that Mel is with Unit, so it does fit that she would be in the episode with Unit in it.
What if it's just a regular ginger lady?
Maybe it's you.
What if it's maybe it was me? What if it's just a regular background actor and everyone is like, oh my god, it's Mel, and then it's not. It's just like an extra. Like, who's the dude standing behind supposedly Mel? Who's that guy?
It's Neil,
Why aren't we talking about? Oh my god, this guy's.
Oh my god, it's Peter Capaldi.
It's Graham. Oh my god.
But yeah, Mel makes sense. This is like a theory that I can get behind. Obviously, she's very blurred in the background, so it's not 100% sure, but it does look like Mel, because it could also be Donna, but it's not Donna because she's not wearing the clothes from any promotional material we've seen. So It's probably Mel.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Or a random extra.
True.
Or a random extra. Mal or a random extra.
But it is nice to
BBC
see.
One have also.
Sorry, it is nice to see Disney Plus finally start marketing this shit, and also they're going to start airing this on the same day as BBC One, which is lovely, lovely stuff.
It is cool. I am interested to see how well it does in America now that it will have a more permanent home than BBC America, which I don't know where you even watch BBC America because I'm not in America. I imagine cable or something.
Yeah.
So Disney Plus is going to have a much wider reaching audience and a lot more kids and stuff discovering Doctor Who, and I'm curious as to how big of an impact it's going to have. It was really strange, actually. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and this is an American podcast with American hosts, and they started talking about Doctor Who, and I was like, oh my god, this is surreal. What is going on right now? But they had because they had a British person on the show, and they were like, is it a kids show? I was like, it's like it's kind of a kids show.
And and of course, Disney Plus. The Disney Plus deal isn't just in America; it's every country where Disney Plus is, apart from the UK, which is mental to think about. Although I really think it should be in Ireland as well, because Ireland don't have BBC iPlayer, so they're missing a trick there. It's really complicated in Ireland at the moment. It because. Where do you go if you want to catch up on Doctor Who?
Surfshark
True.
VPN.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Yeah, as far as like it being available in every other country, yeah, that's true. But America's the target market.
Yeah.
Like America's the market they want to capture because that's where the money is. That's that's who they're going to try and sell it to. Like, yeah, cool. It's really popular in Brazil. Like, that's not really the key demographic they're going after. They're going after the American market. BBC One have also unveiled a new ident, which has got non-photoshopped scary David Tennant. He looks normal. He looks like a regular human. Oh my god. I mean, I guess regular Time Lord. But he doesn't look like a freak. He looks like a regular, 50-year-old man. And it's great.
Yeah, this aired just before EastEnders today, where David Tennant is pointing his sonic screwdriver at the camera, and the words BBC One transform into the 25th of November, I guess. It's not the most interesting ident, but still, it's cool to see Doctor Who promoted. It's nice, you know. Because if you
remember, yeah,
remember when we did Flux? We only found out the release date 2 weeks beforehand, and there was this.
Yeah, it was brutal. And there was no marketing, and there was one trailer and nothing about it. And it's like, oh my god, it's impossible to talk about Flux because there's no marketing for it.
Nightmare.
It was sad. Yeah. We also, coming up, we have got Doctor Who Unleashed coming to BBC 3. This is from the Doctor Who website. Time to step behind the scenes. Doctor Who Unleashed lands on BBC 3. Sorry, I'm burping. And iPlayer this November. Just as you come out from behind the sofa, it is time to step behind the scenes. A brand new Access All Areas show, Doctor Who Unleashed, will give viewers an unmissable insight into the world of Doctor Who. Doctor Who Unleashed is a new 30-minute factual entertainment series produced by Bright Branch for BBC Studios for BBC 3 and BBC iPlayer. Take a shot every time BBC or the letter B is in this. Jesus. Host Stefan Powell, BBC gaming correspondent and former Radio 1 Newsbeat presenter, has been given the keys to the TARDIS, and after every episode of Doctor Who, viewers can switch over to BBC 3 or iPlayer as Stefan takes viewers on a journey showing them just how this out of this world drama is made. God, that's a clunky sentence right at the end. With exclusive interviews with the stars in front of the camera as well as those behind it, Unleashed is the ultimate companion to Doctor Who, and it has a really boring logo, actually.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a really
terrible.
Boring logo.
The Unleashed does not fit with anything. It feels like it's a 90s logo for some reason.
It feels like someone made this logo in 5 minutes on Photoshop. Like, I feel like I could recreate this logo very quickly. Russell T Davies, the Doctor Who showrunner, says, "Over the years, I meet so many people who were inspired to find careers in TV because of the behind-the-scenes material the BBC would show. And now it's back in the grand old tradition of Doctor Who Confidential, but in a brand new form, Unleashed. So, a whole new generation and faithful fans of old can see what the stars and the crew get up to behind the cameras." Stefan Powell, the host of Doctor Who Unleashed, says, "When you're told Russell T Davies is asking you to present a show, you say, 'When does he want me? Doesn't matter, I'll be there. There's a really fun and fascinating group of people bringing Doctor Who to life. I can't wait for the audience to meet them. I'm so chuffed to have been trusted to help tell, in all its glory, the story of what goes on into making the magic happen." Joe Pierce, Bright Branch creative director and Doctor Who Unleashed executive producer, geez, that's a lot of titles, says, "The series gives audiences access to all areas, led brilliantly by Stefan Powell. Viewers are invited to see what really goes into the making of Doctor Who. It's been such a privilege to create this show, and we're so grateful to the cast and crew who welcomed us and allowed us to tell the story behind the drama." Oh, there's so many interviews here. The last one, Fiona Campbell, youth audience for BBC iPlayer and BBC Three. What's her job? You thought is she just a key demographic?
I guess.
Doctor Who is a show that needs no introduction, so it goes without saying that BBC Three and iPlayer are thrilled to introduce this incredible new series that invites viewers into the world of Doctor Who, showing them just what really goes on. What? Fiona Campbell, what is your job? Who are you?
And also, it's such a pointless thing to add on to it, because of course we're not going to say, well, we were really hesitant about it at first. We were thinking,
I didn't think BBC Three was going to be a good place. Like, they had to really twist my arm to put this on.
Going back to what Russell T Davies says about how he meets a lot of people, a lot of younger people who were influenced by the behind the scenes things that the BBC showed when we were younger. I'm one of those people, I grew up watching Doctor Who Confidential every Saturday night after Doctor Who, and it led me to go on to do college. That's where I met Matthew over here. And the only thing I came out of going to college is this fucking podcast where we talk about the behind the scenes information about Doctor Who. So it goes full circle.
Yeah. Life is a flat circle. I don't think I ever really watched Doctor Who Confidential. Maybe caught an episode or two here or there. As a kid, it was much more just binging movies nonstop that made me want to get into a career in the creative arts, and what pursued me to going into college and meeting that person, if you can call him that, on the other side of the screen. And it's really interesting that we both made the same mistake of living in the middle of like nowhere in a country where the only place where there's a TV career is in London.
Terrible.
Very good at foresight, the two of us.
But hey, there's a good podcast that came out of it, I guess.
Really? Which one? What one's that?
My only hesitation about Doctor Who Unleashed is I really hope they don't edit it for a new market, for a new audience, because, kids these days, they love TikTok. I don't want Doctor Who Unleashed to be like a big, long TikTok video where David Tennant is doing a floss.
I want it to be edited like a Mr. Beast video. And I've only seen one Mr. Beast video that you forced me to watch. And I've never been more confused, overwhelmed, and yet couldn't stop watching something in my life than I have been with that video. And that's what I want Doctor Who Unleashed to be. I want it to be the most overwhelming behind the scenes experience where everything is happening so fast and they're throwing so much information at you, and yet somehow you're compelled and you're like, wow, this is incredible. That's what I want it to be.
Yeah, I really hope it learns the lessons of what Doctor Who Confidential did wrong towards the end of its arc, where it just ended up being, well, here's some interviews, and now we've got like 30 seconds of this random music video where Alex Kingston is riding a fake horse, and we're going to play the music video to Shaking Your Ass. Like, what?
Yeah, it's cool.
That's the thing that happened to Doctor Who Confidential. And also it's like, Oh, this week let's have Arthur Darville do some driving lessons for some reason. Okay.
Yeah, I think what I want in my heart of hearts is I want this to be the most boring show on BBC
Yes.
Three. Like I want this to be a really dry, boring. Let's take a look at the camera and the set design. No, let's go have a really long chat with the costume designers and the puppeteers for the aliens. Because like that like I want this to be like Blu-ray extras. The show.
Yes.
That's what I want it to be. Like,
But either way, it is cool that we get some more behind the scenes stuff because we were really lacking throughout the Peter Capaldi era and especially during the Jodie Whittaker era. And I'm just looking forward to every day, every week, sitting down and listening to Russell T Davies talk about his stories and why he chooses certain things and kind of hints it towards what it will lead to. And I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be nice.
It's going to be an overwhelming amount of work for us. Like I say, overwhelming amount of work. It's going to be slightly more work to talk about something because they said it's airing immediately after the episode. So we're gonna have to watch the episode, gather our thoughts, watch the behind the scenes thing, and then record an episode on that, on the like our review reaction sort of thing on what we just watched. That's a lot of work. I don't want to do it. I quit. So you're gonna have to deal with that.
Okay then. Okay, this is the last episode of the podcast. Bye bye.
I just out before it gets big. That's the goal. So we could always think, oh, what could have been, rather than be disappointed at what was. Anyway, moving on. Russell T Davies's Doctor Who magazine number 596 comments. Dates to look out for: November 1st, November 17th, November 23rd. And none of those dates is the date of the specials transmission. Also, I'd better say none of them is a date to book a hotel for, since we don't have any live events planned. Sorry, we concentrated our fire on things that everyone can see. As the summer began, I was thinking about the 60th and wondered, have we done enough? So I had an idea on July 5th, sent a formal proposal to the team on July 20th, then 3 screenwriters got to work, and now, just 2 months later, on the second half of September, we're about to embark on a 6-day studio shoot of brand new material that will make you fizz. What's the chances he wrote jizz and then had to change it? I promise. Also in the issue, Scott Hancock reveals that on the August 16th, executive producers Russell T Davies and Phil Collison meet with me and co-producer Sharon King for a TOTT kick-off meeting. Enjoy the acronym. So TOTT, I assume, is this new show idea thing that they had, or maybe it's just a special event. I don't know if it's going to be a show. I feel like it's not a lot of time to write a whole show, but it's enough time to write like a quick special or a quick mini episode or something, kind of like the episode with the Eighth Doctor regenerating.
Or maybe actually this is stuff that's all separate. So maybe it's something. Maybe we're doing a different show. Maybe we're doing an actual spin-off that won't be out until like late 2025. We shall see.
Maybe.
But November 1st, November 17th, and November 23rd, we're getting Doctor Who content. And we don't really know
the answer
what they
to
are
some
yet.
of these. We know some of
No,
them.
not yet.
November 1st
Not
is
yet.
Classic Who, is it not? November 1st would be Classic Who.
In the letters,
That's
he also talks. In the letters, he also talks about Classic Who coming to BBC iPlayer. So it'd be weird for him to hint towards this while also saying, "Oh yeah, on November 1st, we're getting Classic Who on BBC iPlayer." I think it's something different.
He could have wrote them on different days. He could have written them on different days.
Could
You don't
be.
know. Yeah. Also,
there's so
November
much
23rd is very close to the 25th, so I wonder what we're getting just a couple days before the actual episode airs.
November 23rd is the actual anniversary date, so we're probably gonna get something special.
Documentary. They're all documentaries. Every single one of them.
Like the only thing I could think of is like, oh yeah, let's air some classic episodes on BBC Two and with a documentary and stuff like that. That's the only thing I could think of. But maybe we're also the 3 little scripted things he talks about in the second paragraph.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Either way, Russell T Davies hates letting us plan ahead for this. Speaking of writing things for Doctor Who, there is some new writers for Doctor Who series 14, is it, that these guys are writing for?
Yes.
Writers Kate Herron and Briony Redman join forces for Doctor Who. The new series of Doctor Who will feature an episode co-written by writing duo Kate Herron and Briony Redman, which will air once Ncuti Gatwa takes control of the TARDIS as the 15th Doctor. Both writers have made their mark as creatives, Kate as the executive producer and director of the entirety of Series 1 of the popular Marvel Studios series Loki, as well as directing on the critically acclaimed series Sex Education. Briony is an actor, comedian, and BAFTA Rockcliffe-winning writer whose work includes the Welsh crime comedy Pontbrec with Damien Evans and the award-winning short film Forget Me Not, which screened across film festivals internationally. The pair have collaborated on a range of work together, including their comic The Storkening, as well as TV and film projects including the sci-fi Miss Universe and the acclaimed short film Smear. Now they have teamed up once more to take viewers on an unforgettable adventure in the new series of Doctor Who. And you can tell that there's too much content in the world when I have never heard of that comic, nor that sci-fi series, or that short film, or most of the projects they've worked on besides Loki and Sex Education.
Yeah. But if we're BAFTA winners, we're in good hands. And apparently, people have deduced that we're probably writing the episode with Jonathan Groff, who we talked about a few months ago. It's episode 6 of season 14, I guess. So that's something to look out for.
Yeah. Kate Herron said, "Clearly I can't get enough of time travel. It is an absolute honor to write for Russell and Ncuti. We had so much fun and can't wait for you all to see it." Briony Redman said, "As a big fan of Doctor Who and Russell T Davies, it has been a dream to write on this show." Keep it short. Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies said, This is when I absolutely love my job. Working with the stellar talents of Kate and Briony makes my whole world bigger and brighter and a lot more fun. I was a huge fan of Loki and reached out to Kate to say so. She then introduced me to Briony and it was all systems go. They've written a wonderful script which created unique challenges for cast and crew alike. The end result is gorgeous and thrilling and scary and not like any other episode of Doctor Who. Which is interesting. Gorgeous, thrilling, and scary and not like any other episode of Doctor Who. I feel like that's
we could finally get a good
true.
episode in our hands. It only took him like 840 episodes.
Yeah.
But finally, a good one is on our hands.
Yeah. Even then, probably won't be great. But no, that's cool. I like Loki season 1 was a good time. Probably the best Marvel show. And
yeah.
Again, name another Marvel show that's worth watching.
I like the first 6 episodes of WandaVision.
That's truly... Name a show, not episode, a show that is truly worth watching. It's really just kind of Loki. The other ones are meh.
Yeah, Legion is the only other Marvel show I can think of, but it's not inside
MCU,
of the
MCU, yeah. Pal. Yeah. Yeah, there's
but hey, did you
pickings.
read that article where they're like, oh shit, we should probably start treating these MCU shows like actual TV shows. Let's have a story Bible. It only took them like 4 years, so...
Yeah, I know, it's cool. I like how they took the Doctor Who approach, though, of like, who needs canon, fuck it.
Yeah. But yeah, Loki season 1 was great, and Loki season 2 not so great, so we'll see.
Oh, really? I haven't started it yet. I've seen a lot of positive things about it.
Loki season, it's kind of bland for me, but we'll see. We'll see where it all ends up.
Interesting. I'm waiting to finish some other shows before I put another one on my plate. I'm a little bit full up of TV shows at the minute. So
that's fair.
In other news, Series 15 of Doctor Who has begun filming, which will be the second series of Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, which is insane that's starting filming already when we've not even seen Series 14 yet. Will Ncuti be the first Doctor to finish filming all his episodes before we see him as the Doctor?
Oh god, it's entirely likely, It's mental to think how far ahead they are. We just did World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls, where they talk about the fact that they have to do post-production in a span of 6 weeks. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
now we're like
Yeah.
a year and a half ahead. It's mental to think about, and I hope this continues, because if this continues, we're getting Doctor Who every year at the same time, which
That's the
is
plan, isn't
lovely.
it? That was that was
Lovely.
Russell's plan. Russell's
Yes.
plan when he came back. Doctor Who every year, and it seems to be that train is rolling. I cannot imagine how much work he is doing at the minute.
Oh God.
Like, it must be up to his eyeballs. It's insane.
Yeah.
According to Russell T Davis in Doctor Who magazine number 596, 5 of the 9 scripts have been finished.
Yep.
Which is impressive. Russell,
Yes.
give me a ring. I'll finish up those last 3 for you. Don't worry.
Good counter.
Yeah. See, that's what you get. In other media, we have got more cartoons, and then it's a picture of Salt.
Because we have to
what are
take
you-
we have to take this with a grain of salt, because it's from
Ah,
the mirror.
okay.
So
Okay, right. You're being funny. Okay, got you. Don't try that again. From the Mirror, Doctor Who fans can expect plenty of fun and games in the next animation thanks to the Celestial Toymaker. The character will appear in the hit BBC show this autumn after being brought back by Russell T Davies for the final special, marking the show's 60th anniversary. Neil Patrick Harris will play the immortal being who exists only to play games and cause havoc in others' lives, but the Celestial Toymaker, a William Hartnell story from 1966, will also be brought back to life in cartoon form after the master tapes were wiped years ago. Batman star Michael Gough Inset originally starred as the villain alongside Allo Allo's Carmen Silvera and former Blue Peter star Peter Purves. But only part 4 of the story still exists in the BBC archives after a copy was returned from Australia in February 1984. An insider said, for many fans, the Celestial Toymaker is one of the greatest Doctor Who stories ever. Which is, okay, so what I know about the Celestial Toymaker story is it's, 1, not aged very well because of all the racism, and 2, it's not aged very well because of all the racism. So I'd be interested to see how that translates in animated form, Probably
when
better
they
because
did
you could
yeah.
hide all the blackface and yellowface and stuff.
Oh yeah, because the one point of racism in the original storyline is apparently the Toymaker does say the N word at one point in like episode 2 or 3. But in what the BBC have done in recent times is when they release the story on like CD, because obviously the audio still exists for these, they fade out on the N word. They have like narration above it, so it's completely obscured. I'm sure it won't be on a DVD release, and I'm sure how long until we get released the N word cut?
Yeah, I mean, right, I get the idea of wanting to not have it in, but at the same time, show it how it was. Like, don't try to hide or change the show into something that it wasn't. Like, this is a product from 1966. This is language that they thought was appropriate back then. Like, why change what is essentially a time capsule, a piece of history, to suit more modern ideals? Like, I get, like, I'm all for not saying it anymore because, yeah, why would you? I wasn't for saying it back then. I wasn't alive back then. My point is, don't change media, kind of,
I don't care. In context, it's the Toymaker saying, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catcha.
Oh,
By the
okay,
toe.
I get you.
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a Jeremy Clarkson way of the rhyme.
yeah, yeah.
Which,
Yeah, and you don't need it, and it doesn't add anything to the plot, and if anything, makes it inaccessible to large portions of the audience you're trying to get to. So I fully understand the BBC not wanting that to represent them as a brand or have it as a smear on Doctor Who's name as a brand either. But, again, at the same time, I'm in two heads because I totally see and understand from a corporate sort of look at it like this is how it should be, but from a like let's archive media how it was sort of look.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't
I
think we should be
understand.
changing the past. Like,
I understand where you're coming from because like old Warner Brothers cartoons are racist as hell.
Yeah.
And they have like a little thing in front of each cartoon saying, "This reflects the attitudes of the time. It wasn't right then. It isn't right now, etc." We have what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg step out in front of the camera and explain some racist history and all that, which is a great way of doing it. In Doctor Who, I don't care either way because it's just one line that they're going to censor out. It adds nothing to the story, so I'm fine with it,
Yeah, I'm not gonna scream to the nine hells that they got rid of one line of dialogue, not even a line of dialogue, a word from a line of dialogue. I'm just, from a pure archivist point of view, not a huge fan of it.
But they just did screen The Underwater Menace a few weeks ago, and at the Q&A they said we have 2 teams now working on these animations. 2 teams.
That's insane. Literally,
Yes.
like a few months ago, we were talking about how the animations have been cancelled.
Yeah, it is quite insane because I think back then it was partially funded by BBC America, because obviously BBC America isn't part of the deal anymore. I don't know why we're still BBC America because all they do is air Star Trek and like Bones, 2 very BBC centric
Those are two,
shows.
but those are 2 very popular shows. So it gets
it's
ratings.
insane. It's insane. But we have 2 new studios doing the animation, so we could see in like maybe 4 years' time, every story is animated now, which would be amazing. Because I don't think these stories are going to be found anytime soon. So
no,
animate them all.
I would really be interested to see if the animation quality goes up. Because
I doubt it.
That's always the biggest part for me when it's like, cool, yeah, it's back and I can watch it, but it looks like shit and I don't want to look at it. I actively don't want to watch it because it looks bad. So even just a little extra budget to just up that animation quality will go a long way. In non-mirror related news, there was a Doctor Who concert recently, and they aired it on BBC Sounds, and both you and I listened to it. And in that concert, they unveiled some new themes. They unveiled the 15th Doctor's theme and Ruby Sunday's theme. And I'm going to have to listen back to it before I give my solid opinion.
And we also have the new theme song itself. So
yes, and of course
really
the new
got
theme
a
song
big
itself.
treat.
So, the theme song, it is definitely a Doctor Who theme song. Thumbs up from me.
Yeah, my only issue with the theme song is the start of it, the mix sounds weird. It's like an overwhelming, you're not sure what instrument you're needing to listen to capture the theme because there's so many instruments going off. It feels overwhelming. I presume it's just because it's a live show. I presume the actual mix of the theme song would be better, but I really like the theme song. I especially like how near the end of it, they do a little piano thing that was in the Doctor Who movie, the 8th Doctor Who movie, because that's my favourite theme song, the 8th movie. That's and also the middle 8. The middle 8 is so good. I love the middle 8. Bring back the middle 8.
Well, they did. I think it's solid as well. I'll be very excited when it comes on. What I like about the Doctor Who theme songs as well is they're all different yet all identifiably the same. And they talk about this briefly on. Did you watch the showrunner roundtable thing that they did?
I watched clips of it. Yes.
Oh, I watched it, and they talked about that theme song thing. And I think it's Russell T Davies or somebody that says it's amazing, isn't it, that they're all basically the same song, but like or it could have been Moffat. It sounds more like a Moffat thing. to say. When it's like it's all the same song. It's always constantly the same song. Yet they come in and they make it just slightly different. It's brilliant. And it is. It's incredible how many different ways there is of playing and writing what is essentially the same sheet of music. You know, because all the broad strokes are there. It still sounds like a Doctor Who theme song.
And it's like the Doctor himself. He's always the same character, and there's little bits and bobs you can recognize in each of the Doctors, but we're all completely different people. It's kind of cool. What a weird show we're talking about.
Yeah. The 15th Doctor's theme, I'm torn on. I liked it the first time I heard it. I really liked it the first time I heard it. I thought it was cool. The second time hearing it, and granted I haven't listened to it fully again, but like listening to like the like just this little like bumpy little trumpet in the background, like it reminds me of, you know, the Family Guy joke of like Stewie or somebody walking behind a fat person with a trumpet. Like that's what it sounds like. It sounds like that plodding, and that's all I can see in my head.
All I can see in my head is penguins marching for some reason.
It's a weird. It does have a march to it. There is a march to the song. It definitely has a march. It's strange.
I dig
but
it.
It's not bad.
I dig it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be cool when Shooty shows up with it.
I think I need to see how it is applied to the show before making final judgments. You know, how it fits into each scene it's used in.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't become another I Am the Doctor where it gets used every fucking episode. That's one of my favorite things about the concert, because Russell T Davies at one point is like, oh yeah, the music isn't exactly subtle, is it?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, and I Am the Doctor sounds amazing in that orchestra. It's worth listening to. There's also Ruby Sunday's theme, and Russell T Davies loves a blonde companion, doesn't he? But her theme song sounds sad. It sounds very sad. It's a very sad song. It makes you sad. It's like a slow, methodical, like, ooh, I'm gonna have a tragic story, I'm sure, type character. Because of all the goblins at Christmas from the Christmas leaves. All those goblins everywhere making me sad.
It starts off as like a lone, sad piano, and then more instruments get added into it, and it becomes like a wondrous kind of thing, as probably she's exploring the universe now, and it's joyous. It's a really nice little theme song.
She got away from the goblins, so everything becomes happy.
And it's also really unique for a Murray Gold score. Like, just the fact that it opens up in a lone piano for like a minute is kind of incredible for Murray Gold. And apparently we're going to get Ruby Sunday actually performing the song inside of a show. Like, she'll be sitting at the piano and playing the song, and it'll be her character song now.
I guess that's why it opens up with the piano, because I assume that we're going to see her playing the piano at Christmas, being like, there's too many goblins.
We still have more news, but do you want to discuss what we're actually doing next month on a show that we have to...
Sure.
We've really had to do this last minute, so...
So, what is happening next month? The month of November, the busiest month in Doctor Who freaking history. The 3rd of November, we will be looking at An Adventure in Space and Time. Christ, I'm burping as I talk. Which is a biopic movie about William Hartnell, isn't it? And it's not a movie I've seen yet. So I'll be watching that soon, because we're recording the episode very soon. On the 10th of November, we are going to be looking at the Torchwood episode Something Blue, which is definitely an episode of Torchwood and not one that I have seen, so look forward to that. On the 17th of November, we will be doing news and a review of the 60th anniversary content so far, and the 60th anniversary preview for everything that has been happening. And then after the 25th, we will be reviewing the Star Beast, and then every bit after that, we will be looking at every 60th anniversary
Yeah.
special that comes for
So
the other remaining
Friday-
weeks.
So Friday the 24th, we won't have an episode, but we will try to do each 60th anniversary special as soon as possible. Like, we both have jobs. It is impossible to try and plan
Yeah.
these things out in advance, so we're hoping we can get each episode out by the Tuesday or the Wednesday, I think, is a reasonable time to expect them by, midweek.
Oh, I mean, maybe night off if we're lucky, but who knows with with work and stuff.
We
like
will
that.
see.
But,
We're not promising anything, but we will see. How
I mean,
we
it will be
handle
like
this.
it will be like Flux. It'll be like what we did with
Uh-huh.
Flux. We'll get it out when we can get it out. What's interesting about, and I don't think we've actually talked about this, about it coming out on the 25th. Doctor Who's back on Saturdays. Woo!
Yes.
Saturday
It is
Doctor Who.
fantastic. And you can tell that Russell T Davies probably really pushed for this because he really loves Saturdays. He wrote it into the show where David Tennant
Who doesn't?
at the start of Stolen Earth is like, "Oh, Saturdays! I love Saturdays."
Yeah, he
Like,
doesn't love
Saturdays just
Saturday.
feels so right for Doctor Who, even though it's not always been on a Saturday. It's aired every single day of the week, especially during the
Yeah.
80s, where it's all over the map.
But Saturday also, I mean, is easier for us because there's less likelihood of us being busy on a Sunday. So that
Yeah.
is that is good. Coming out next month, brackets technically next 3 weeks. November 1st. Every quote unquote episode coming to iPlayer. This is from bbc.co.uk. Never heard of it. The TARDIS doors are being thrown wide open as BBC iPlayer welcomes the biggest collection of Doctor Who to the platform, with hundreds of episodes becoming available with multiple accessibility features for the first time. Before the anniversary special hits our screen, viewers will have the opportunity to travel back in time with any of the Doctors through the show's 60-year history with the classic series, as well as explore the vast world of Doctor Who with spin-offs like the Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood, and Class, or step behind the scenes with every episode of Doctor Who Confidential, all available in one place, BBC iPlayer. Every episode on iPlayer from the back catalogue will be available with multiple accessibility options, including subtitles, audio descriptions, and sign language. With over 800 episodes of Doctor Who programming on iPlayer, Russell T Davies, showrunner, said, "I'd like to thank the BBC for the hard work to get this massive back catalogue under one roof at long last. I'm so excited for new viewers. Imagine being 8 years old, spending winter afternoons exploring the 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. And we're determined this won't be a dusty museum. We have exciting plans to bring the back catalogue to life, with much more to be revealed." I wonder if they're going to be sticking like the remasters on for the classic episodes, and maybe
I'd love that.
bring in some colorization and things like that for the black and white
Yeah,
ones. I don't know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
more accessibility, including subtitles, audio description, and sign language. That's an incredibly big
Yeah.
amount of work to do. Like, Jesus Christ, this is insane. 2.5 years in the works. A lot of people just think it's a case of, oh yeah, let's just upload all our files to BBC iPlayer and we're done. That's how
Yeah.
it works, but there's an awful lot
It's like
of
YouTube.
stuff. And
It's like YouTube,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
And let's hope it's proper subtitles this time, because we've been watching the show on ITVX and BritBox, and these subtitles often get
It's
cut off.
Perfect.
It's
They're
not
perfect
translated
subtitles.
perfectly.
Yeah, it's
And-
like abbreviations, or it's like half sentences, or the word is literally chopped in half and it just ends. It's incredible.
Russell T Day was talking about being an 8-year-old and spending a winter afternoon watching every decade of Doctor Who, being able to explore the back catalogue is kind of insane to think about, because I remember when I was 8 years old and I could only see footage of Doctor Who on BBC Three. Doctor Who Confidential would often air little clips of classic Who, and I'd be like, holy shit, this looks interesting, this looks awesome, this looks so interesting. How do I watch this? You have to subscribe to Sky,
Yeah.
UK TV Gold, and the UK TV Gold was almost finished airing Doctor Who at this point. We'd only have Doctor Who until like 2008, so I was kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
I only caught the last episode of John Pertwee. I caught it like a weekend marathon, and I caught like every Tom Baker episode I used to record them. Sometimes they'd air at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would have to tape them. So it was very difficult for me to watch classic Doctor Who in a legal sense. I used to also be able to find episodes on YouTube for free, so it wasn't too bad. But it's nice that they're all legally here, for free. Essentially, you have to pay your TV license, but it's convenient. Yeah.
Well, you have to pay your TV license in quotation marks. It's one of the main reasons why I have such a blind spot when it comes to classic Who, is because it was like I had literally no way of watching it as a kid. Like, I could not get it anywhere. We didn't have Sky. We didn't have access to it, and I couldn't record anything because we didn't have a box that could record stuff. So even if I could watch it, but it's on at 3 a.m. Too bad. So sad. So the only episodes of Classic Who I had seen were just like an Unearthly Child and things like that. When like in my head I'm like, oh, I'll just pirate it. But pirating stuff is like so inconvenient and such a hassle to have to go onto the websites, deal with all the pop-ups to watch 20 minutes of an episode that's like not good, and you're like, why am I doing this? So you just give up. So having it all on iPlayer is much more convenient, and I would have died for this to happen when I was 8 years old, so I'm very jealous.
Oh yeah, same. Kids really have it lucky, don't they?
Yeah, and they're not going to watch it, which makes it worse. Archive material. As the perfect companion to the back catalogue, the BBC will simultaneously launch an extensive online archive from the show's history at bbc.co.uk/Doctor Who. In its beginning stages, this new site will feature curated journeys through the archive to bring the show's extensive history to life for fans, with items like interviews with cast members, news pieces, audio, imagery, and written documents. It's like they made it for the show. Over time, more content will be added to the archive, including a special collection of photos that have been scanned at 8K resolution from an estimate of a total 25,000 prints. Negatives, slides, and digital images, which will give an unprecedented insight into the show with access to all areas throughout the years. The expanded archive will also feature additional gems from over 100,000 documents, including memos, correspondence, designs, and audience research, alongside orchestral scores of sheet music. Also being added is a selection of audio clips about Doctor Who, including radio programs, documentaries, interviews, and music. And I just felt the runtime of all of our podcast episodes extend by like tenfold.
Oh god, yes! I have so much more extra research to do now. There's no excuse.
At least you just need to go to one site. At least you just need to go to one site. Yes. You know, you don't have to dig around.
But I will still have to dig around. You know, I like to be researched as much as possible. It's insane.
Yeah.
But for free. This is what the BBC iPlayer or BBC website should be. You know. All this extra material, 100,000 documents, 25,000 prints, incredible. That's so exciting. You know, you can't ask for more, can you?
It's stuff like this and being open and allowing people to see the process behind making the show and how the show is made, which I think would do wonders in actually convincing people that the TV license is a good idea. Because so many people are like, what am I paying for? You know, what's the point of it? Why I'm paying for something that I don't watch, that I don't see, that I don't know how it's made. Whereas if you just open the doors and are like, oh, no, this is a public service. So, you know, the show that we're making, you know, is funded through public funds. Like, let's let the public see how it's made. I think that's such a great idea. And honestly, I think they should do it with every single thing that they do. Like, just be completely transparent. Like
obviously it would be so much more extra work to get the rights for like shows like Red Dwarf or Blake 7 and all that, but it's worth it in the end. You know, it's worth it, and more people will be inclined to pay the TV license. I'm more inclined to pay the TV license, and I'm happily playing the TV license. So you know.
Same. Russell T. Davis comments in Doctor Who magazine number 596. You'll have been told about the archive, the back catalogue of Doctor Who arriving on the iPlayer. At last! When I arrived in this job, I told them I wanted to 1. Make Doctor Who. 2. Annually. 3. Create massive behind-the-scenes coverage. 4. Not telling you that. 5, ignore that. And 6, have the back catalogue of Doctor Who ready and available not just for us, the fans, but for children and families and absolutely everyone. The show has always been split up on different platforms and behind paywalls. Now it's here for all to see as one mighty empire. You can go from 1963 to The Power of the Doctor without changing channels, which is great because it means I can cancel ITVX. Mind you, I made that statement, then I kind of forgot about it. I was busy, you know? About 18 months later, I casually said to Julie Gardner, "Hey, what happened to that iPlayer plan? Has anyone done anything?" She gave me her basilisk stare and informed me that while I'd forgotten all about it, fleets of lawyers and producers and subtitlers and data wranglers had worked their fingers to the bone into the small hours of the night for an entire year to swing the deal. You idiot. Oops. Thanks all, which is brilliant. But yeah,
this
well done.
really
Can't imagine
shows,
how hard that was.
Yeah, this really shows how much Russell T Davies cares about the show and cares about presenting the show to people, you know? It's incredible. It's incredible. And I couldn't be more excited, but, you know, there's maybe one story that won't be part of the archive.
Yes, and that is An Unearthly Child. The very first Doctor Who story, which introduced William Hartnell as the first Doctor, titled An Unearthly Child, will not be included in the iPlayer back catalogue as part of the 60th anniversary celebration of the programme, the BBC has confirmed to the Radio Times. This massive iPlayer back catalogue will be home to over 800 hours of Doctor Who content, but will not include the first 4 episodes as we do not have all the rights to those. And that's because of one... Steph Anthony Coburn, sorry. The 4 stories were written by the late writer Anthony Coburn, and they will not be included because the BBC writer's son could not come to an agreement on the rights. And this son, Steph Anthony Coburn, is a piece of work. He's an interesting dude. It's a real piece of work. He loves Twitter too much, and he tweets all the time, and he tweets awful things. This is just a few of his tweets. A while back, I cancelled the BBC's license to show or use in any way my late father's 4 first ever Doctor Who episodes comprising the Tribe of Gum. Now they offer me a pittance to relicense them. I sent them my counter offer instead. Let's see how much they want them. You're all missing the point. In 1976, the BBC, without asking permission or offering payment, first registered my desperately ill father's IP as their trademark, before, by gross professional negligence or deliberate intent, killing him. You think I give a damn about anything else? So the guy goes on and he tweets nonstop about awful things, and, you know, he's exactly as transphobic and awful as you would expect somebody on Twitter to be. Like, you know, he's holding this An Unearthly Child ransom, basically, and it's led to a lot of negative feedback to him on Twitter, like a lot of people presumably being not very nice to him, which I'm not like you know, what's the point of that? That's not going to solve anything.
I know.
But there is, or at least there was, like earlier today or yesterday or something, like maybe An Unearthly Child is coming to iPlayer, so maybe BBC just went, screw it, we'll pay, instead of 20 grand we'll give you the 30 that you're asking for, or the 200 you're asking for, you know, like,
and let's talk about the 20 grand first, because that is a beyond reasonable amount to pay for this, you know, to pay the son of the writer, because we're looking at America right now. They just had a writer's strike, and part of why they went on strike, the writers, was, you know, streaming services don't give a very good amount of payback. There's no residuals. Like, we see writers getting pennies off of their work on Netflix. Meanwhile, this guy, who's the son of the guy who wrote the first Doctor Who episode, is being offered £20,000. That's an incredible amount for doing nothing except being born, essentially. You know?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It is. It's, you know, if he doesn't want that money, I will happily take it. And then we can put An Unearthly Child. If the money is the issue, if he doesn't want the money, then I'll solve that problem for him. And I'll take it.
Yeah. And the thing is, we've seen clips of An Unearthly Child being removed from the official Doctor Who YouTube channel. We've seen it We've seen the episodes being removed from storefronts like Amazon or Google Store, one of those platforms as well.
Yeah.
And people today have just noticed that there are clips of the episodes on BBC iPlayer. But people have been also pointing out they've always been there. So I don't know what the story is. I know they've kept on
Renegotiating.
renegotiating. I'm sorry. BBC have been trying to get this up and running. You know, I assume Russell D Davies is also really trying hard at this. Like, it's an important piece of television history to have in their archive. It's just so incomplete without it. But you know, the first 4 episodes aren't that good anyway. The first episode is great. The 3 that follow, not so much. So it's not a big loss.
Which is fair. It's not, but from an archivist point of view, it is a massive loss. And from just a completionist point of view, it would be so, like, especially if they animate every episode. You imagine on iPlayer, you can watch every single episode of Doctor Who, even the missing episodes that they've gone back and painstakingly animated, except you can't watch the first story. You know, like, that would be ridiculous. So, you know, hopefully they come to some sort of deal. Hopefully this guy wisens up, you know, and just chills out a
Fingers
bit.
crossed.
Like, you know, but who knows? Who knows what happens? We'll just have to wait and see. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
In other news, TV November 1st, Talking Doctor Who, 7:30 p.m., BBC 4. Is this maybe the November 1st thing that was
Maybe
about?
it's potentially, but it feels weird to just be like, oh yeah, November 1st, something's big coming. Oh, a documentary, okay. On BBC
Documentaries
4.
are big.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. All 3 of them are documentaries. As part of the Doctor Who's 60th anniversary celebrations, David Tennant time travels, oh my god, back through the BBC archives to tell the story of the Doctor's classic era. The show will feature a selection of rarely seen interviews and clips covering William Hartnell's first incarnation, right through to the 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy. What about my boy Paul McGann? On the way, Tennant compares some of his own experiences with the actors who came before him and shares special archive moments that reveal, amongst other things, how to film a regeneration. Which actor was a master of modern gadgetry, including a collapsible caravan, and what the factors were that helped to decide how a doctor selects his own individual and distinctive costume. I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm hyped.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for it. It's going to be great.
And
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to just an introspective look at what it is like to be one of the most popular TV characters of all time, one of the most popular children's superheroes of all time. I burped.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Who is a superhero. You don't think about that often enough, but he is a superhero.
I'm pretty sure Dr. Mysterio was the superhero. If I remember correctly, it was that Mysterio guy from that episode with Goku in it.
Okay.
Also on November 1st, they are airing the concerts which they unveiled all of the new songs at and played some lovely classic songs as well. I don't think I'm going to watch this because I already listened to the show, and as an audio experience, I don't think watching them play the instruments is going to really add anything that listening to with my headphones didn't do, you know?
Oh, it was what you were saying when you watched the clip of them perform.
Conductor.
Yeah, about the conductor, and just it's kind of like magical for me to watch people perform music, because it's like in audio you don't really think about all the instruments, but you see like 60 people sitting down playing unique instruments at the same time, and you're like, oh my god, that woman over there with a piano is doing something incredible, that woman with a violin is doing something incredible. I watched Back to the Future a few years ago with a live orchestra, and that was incredible. That was amazing. I loved it so much, because you get to key in on some of the music so much more. It's like it's a visual experience as well as an audio experience. It's something incredible. I'm looking forward to seeing. It's going to be great.
Nice. We've also got audio coming for the, speaking of Paul McGann actually, from Big Finish, Doctor Who, the Eighth Doctor Adventures, Audacity. The Doctor is about to gain a new best friend, Lady Audacity Montague, that's what I said, has carved her own path in Regency England. She has also been watching the heavens, wondering what lies beyond. When the Doctor gate crashes one of her famous society balls, Audacity is given the chance to find out. This is 3 episodes, The Devouring by Lisa McMullen, The Great Cyber War Part 1 by Tim Foley, and The Great Cyber War Part 2 by Tim Foley, which is fun. I like a Paul McGann story. This seems the cover art is classic Big Finish. Let's stick everybody on the poster cover art.
I kind of like it. I dig it. What's interesting is the Great Cyber War Part 1 has 2 parts, and the Great Cyber War Part 2 has 2 parts. So I presume at last minute they decided to make these 25 to 30-minute episodes because that was the original format of these Paul McGann audio stories. This is going to a very early point in the Eighth Doctor's career because he looks like the TV movie version of the Eighth Doctor.
Yeah, really. He's very young, long hair.
So, last year I listened to the 2 box sets that came out for the Eighth Doctor, and obviously they're like the latest point of the Eighth Doctor's life. And I loved both of these box sets. When this was announced, I was kind of disappointed because I just grew to love these characters so much. And like Livchenko and Helen, and now I'm kind of disappointed that we're going back. I don't know why we're going back, but I presume it's going to be revealed inside of the story, because this does have the numbering of 3 at the start of each story. So this is essentially box set 3 continuing on from the last 2. So I guess it's sort of like a prequel that ties in. I don't know. I'm interested.
They say it was all going to be standalone stuff anyway, but
I don't know.
You know,
we'll see.
The audacity of them to dare change it, you might say. Yeah.
I'll check it out because I really love the Eighth Doctor. He's one of my favorites.
I do love him. Just thinking about the Eighth Doctor makes me really hope he gets a spin-off. It does, but I really hope he gets a spin-off show, because he's one of he's the only classic Who Doctor young enough to still do the role, and I would die. I think I would die if we got an Eighth Doctor adventure series, just a spin-off following the Eighth Doctor. I would die, and I would be very happy. Please, Russell, please.
It's so sad to be like, oh yeah, you should check out the Eighth Doctor. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh, what episodes are his best? Oh, actually, he only has 1 episode. He has 1 mini-sode, and he's in Power of the Doctor. He has great audio adventures.
He's got a movie that the movie's not really canon, but it kind of is. Also, we've got a book coming out, the 4th Doctor anthology, Doctor Who. Where is the about on this? Publisher's synopsis. When Doctor Who Weekly launched in 1979, it was the inimitable there's so many big words today. Tom Baker incarnation of the immortal Time Lord who graced its very first comic stories. Now, Panini Comics is proud to present the complete collection of 4th Doctor comic strips, taken from the early years of Doctor Who Weekly and Doctor Who Monthly, featuring 16 wild and witty tales. This collection sees the Doctor encounter robotic Centurions, deceptively furry and cuddly space tyrants, who could that be? Deadly psychic vampires, and a whole lot more. So it's fun that this is a collection of really old Doctor Who comics that are insane. Obviously, the big deal is Beep the Meep. This is the
it
comics
has the
Beep
original
the Meep is in.
Star Beast. So
Yeah.
I haven't read the original Star Beast, actually. I should actually read it before it comes out.
Yeah.
So
spoilers, though. You might ruin it for you. You might ruin the show for you. Yeah, no, it's fun. It's cool. That's cool stuff. How many pages is it? 324. Gee whiz, that's a lot of comic. That is a lot of comic. I'm sure it'll be a fun time. £30, a lot of money. for it. But
Yeah, but I'll probably read it just for the Star Beast and then forget about it. Put it in a cupboard somewhere.
yeah, that's probably
Money well
on a
spent.
shelf. Put it on a shelf. Don't put it in a cupboard. Put it on a shelf.
I don't
with
have
your
shelves.
Get a shelf and start buying books. Like, where do you store your DVDs if you don't have a shelf? What do you?
I put them in my cupboard because my cupboard has like a bit at the top but I could put stuff in, so I just put all my DVDs in there, but I've run out of room there, so now it's all in like drawers and under my bed and in my poofy.
You just can't see it. It's just stuff you can't even see. Like I like what I like about having a collection of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gesturing to my very messy shelf that I need to organize at the minute. But what I don't even know if you can see it because it might get cut off from the frame. But either way, what I like about my like having storage and shelves is you can display your collection. Like what's the point of having it to just throw it away? You know,
when I move out, the first thing I'm going to do is buy a shelf because
Yeah.
buy shelves, not just a shelf.
buy one shelf, one shelf, one really long shelf. It's really big. Like,
I've always dreamed of storing my shit. I just don't have any room for my shit. I need it.
yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
On November 4th, the Dr. Donathon at 9:45. Are we gonna watch the Dr. Donathon?
The
Alan
Dr.
Z.
Donathon.
Alan Z, ahead of the biggest reunion in time and space, let's rewatch their adventures again. A 14-hour watch-along with breaks of Doctor Who adventures featuring the 10th Doctor and Donna Noble will be happening on Saturday, 4th of November 2023, starting at 9:45 UK time. Fans around the world will be able to follow the watch-along with the hashtag Dr. Donathon. There was also a competition to enter to watch a marathon in the UK cinema, which is you can't enter it anymore because it was like October the 11th. So, but some people are watching this in the cinema. How mental!
I imagine it'll be a cinema like in London or something.
Yes, of course.
What's interesting about this is this Dr. Donathon, this marathon of Doctor Who and Donna Noble stories. I literally just finished watching all of the the 10th Doctor and Donna Noble stories just a few weeks ago. I finished doing this by myself. So maybe I will watch it. Maybe I will join this marathon. Maybe I won't because I watched these very recently. But at the same time, it would be good for some hashtag social media engagement if we did watch along and came up with some funny tweets like what if the doctor pooped his pants just now, ha ha ha, and then we get like 50 likes. That's
But one of the things when this was announced, November 4th, of the weekend after, it's November 11th, and that's where a lot of people were thinking Doctor Who must be back on November 11th. There's no way we would do this November 4th and then have like a 2-week gap.
Yeah.
But I guess they have this out on November 4th and there's a 2-week gap. So
let's see, November 4th. I am also working, so I mean
I don't know if I'm working, but we'll see.
We could join the backhand of it, the back end in the evening time.
We'll see.
Yeah. On November 6th, David Whittaker in an exciting adventure with television. There's a David Whittaker now? David Whittaker in an exciting adventure with television. This is a book. To celebrate 60 years of Doctor Who, discover the extraordinary little-known life of one of its chief architects, David Whittaker. As the show's first story editor, he helped to establish the compelling blend of adventure, imagination, and quirky humor that made and continues to make the series a hit. David commissioned the first Dalek story and fought for it to be made when his bosses didn't like it. Regeneration, the TARDIS being alive, the idea of Doctor Who expanding to become a multimedia phenomenon in comics, books, and films. David Whittaker was all over it, yet very little was known about this key figure in Doctor Who history until now. Why did he fall out with Irving Berlin? Was he really engaged to Eutha Joyce? And how did an assignment to Moscow badly affect his career? Simon Guerrier has written countless Doctor Who books, comics, and audio plays. He is also the author of Sherlock Holmes, The Great War, and has produced a number of documentaries for BBC Radio 3 and Radio 4. This book sounds incredible. I am 100% adding this to my to buy list. This sounds ace. This sounds like a
That's
really
a
good
problem.
book.
There's so many good books and stuff coming out next month because obviously it's the
Yeah.
60th. It's a big month for releases.
It,
I'm
yeah.
interested by it as well. I need it probably for research purposes, but there's too much books, too little money, you know.
Yeah, that's true. But what's annoying is they're not selling this book on Amazon. They're only selling it on 10 Acre Films website, which is
What?
yeah. Like I looked for this book on Amazon, I can't buy it. But the website 10 Acre Films, which is where I read
Yeah.
this thing, you can add it to the cart and buy it there. There's no Amazon link. You just buy it off the website directly, which is annoying, and makes me less likely to buy the book. Sad face. In November 7th, Once Upon a Time Lord.
Oh, this looks familiar.
Doctor Who, Once Upon a Time Lord. Eisner Award-winning Spider-Man writer Dan Slott makes his Doctor Who debut. An epic story that sees companion Martha Jones captured by the insatiable pyromyths, and her only hope for survival is to keep them distracted with sensational untold tales of the 10th Doctor facing off against his greatest foes, both classic and new. Witness the incredible adventures of the 10th Doctor like never before. You'll be on the edge of your TARDIS as she recounts 3 unbelievable tales of the Doctor facing off against his deadliest foes. Bursting straight out of the long-running hit television series, this Doctor Who collection continues the time-traveling tales of the Doctor and friends. Buy it, read it, then travel back in time to read it for the first time all over again. See, this is interesting. What comics has Dan Slott written? Because I've read quite a few Spider-Man comics.
Yeah, he was Spider-Man, the main Spider-Man guy from like 2009 to like 2017 or something. He's the guy who came up with the concept of the Spider-Verse. He's also doing a new Spider-Man comic book that's separate from Amazing Spider-Man called Spider-Man, I believe. And also Spider-Boy is a new spin-off, and he is hands deep inside of Spider-Man at the moment.
he is a Spider-Man guy. He loves him some Spider-Mans, which is fair enough. This comic though doesn't grab me. Like it just being 3 standalone stories of Martha recounting, like, oh yeah, the Doctor did this, and whether or not it's true or not, like, I'm like, do I care? The cover's fun, you know, the Doctor riding a werewolf getting chased by every monster imaginable. Like,
yeah, the framing device of Martha telling the stories is a bit weak. I'm not sure how that fits in, but the artwork looks nice. We can see previews of
the cover art is nice. The interior artwork is the same Doctor Who artwork that I hate.
Alright.
They draw faces weird in Doctor Who comics, and I don't know why. Like,
well, and it comes to one of those things where that really annoys me about comic books or books where it doesn't align with a show's canon, because you can imagine so much different worlds, so much more different worlds than you can on television. And like here, Doctor Who is on like a planet where the ocean is pink and there's a pirate boat, and that's not something you'd see in a show. It feels
where are they? Where are they
weird.
in the show? London. Oh, they're in London again this week.
Yeah.
Oh, tune in next week where they're going to be in London. Like,
But also, if you are writing a comic book, it's like, you wouldn't just stick to London. That's boring. You might as well unleash your creativity. It's a weird issue with me where if something doesn't look immediately canon, I just cannot gel with it at all. It's probably my problem, but it's weird.
It is your problem. I've never had that issue. I've always thought.
Oh,
I mean, I always took the Doctor Who comics to be canon as well, because it's like stories between the episodes type thing. You know, it's and them being wackier or wilder or more colorful aliens and things like that, it never even registered in my brain as possibly a problem.
yeah. Like, I'm looking at a page where there's a Sycorax riding a giant lizard, and the giant lizard is about to eat the TARDIS.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's exactly
You're a
what you
freak.
see in
You're a
season 3.
freak. You're a freak. You're just a freak. That's all you are. On November 13th, Underwater Menace. Doctor Who, the Underwater Menace limited edition steelbook. Is this an animated story? This looks like an animated story.
It is.
Yes. This is Patrick Troughton stars in the recreation of the lost classic from 1967. Wow, I was burping as I said 7 there. Did you hear it? The Doctor and his friends find themselves in the lost city of Atlantis, where the crazed Professor Zaroff has convinced the people of Atlantis that he can raise the sunken city from beneath the sea. However, the Doctor discovers a terrible secret behind Zaroff's plan, a secret that could destroy all of life on Earth. As the countdown commences to the end of the world, can the Doctor defeat the Underwater Menace? And this is the animated versions with a very nice steelbook. I love a steelbook. I love a good steelbook. I don't know how you feel about steelbooks, but I love them.
Oh yeah, I love steelbooks. I just, again, it's a space issue. If I had all the money if I had all the space for steelbooks, I would buy them all. You know?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful looking steelbook. I love the colors.
For me, it's a price issue mainly when it comes to steelbooks. It's always cheaper to just buy the regular Blu-ray than it is to get the steelbook. So unless there's like a good deal or I'm getting a lot of extras in the steelbook, then I'm usually not going to go for it. I think I have a couple steelbooks. I have a steelbook of Planet Terror, which is the double feature that Tarantino did with Robert Rodriguez, where it's Planet Terror and Death Proof, which is like their B-movies sort of deal. I have that in steelbook, and I also have Inglourious Bastards, both Tarantino joints, on steelbook. I don't know why. I'm a white guy that likes films, so Tarantino. I
have the 2 Dalek movies on steelbook, as well as Shaun of the Dead.
Their art was nice.
I might have another steelbook somewhere, but again, it's just shoved into a closet somewhere, so I can't remember.
In the bin.
No. This box set includes previously unreleased 1964 drama starring Patrick Troughton and Joseph First, and I quickly googled this. Apparently, it's a drama. I'm not sure, because this is a 6-episode TV show called The Midnight Men, starring Patrick Troughton, apparently. So I'm not sure if this is it, The Midnight Men. If it is The Midnight Men, I'm not sure why that's a 6-episode drama. It's too much for a DVD. So I presume it's not The Midnight Men, but it's the only
previously
thing I can
unreleased. Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't know. That is a strange thing to include. Yeah. Yeah.
But either way, it's cool that there's more footage, there's more stuff in this. Because this is lacking, I would say. There's also audio commentaries, BBC News extracts, and animation and photo gallery. So not too much of stuff. So if it is like a whole TV drama, that's cool. You know, the more the merrier. Because this is 4 episodes, or 6 episodes. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm not too interested because it's again the issue of the animation not being good enough, I would say.
Yeah. Definitely not good enough for £30. I'll wait for it to come onto iPlayer. We've also got coming on November 13th as well, series 1 to 4 remastered of modern Doctor Who on Blu-ray. Newly upscaled episodes from the 9th and 10th Doctor eras are now available to pre-order on Blu-ray. This includes every episode and special from the first 4 series, freshly upscaled to high definition using the latest technology, plus the 10th Doctor specials, existing bonus features, and 1 new extra. This is insane. I might get this. And I, which is interesting because like you go back and you watch series like 1, like I think the effects in series 1 hold up because it's in standard definition.
Yeah.
I don't know if upscaling that is gonna date unless they redo some of the effects on top, which they do with Blu-rays. Haha. But so yeah, I'll have to see what the reaction is when it comes out online to like if it's worth buying it or not. But I might genuinely get that.
I've heard some early reactions from like people who obviously have an early box set of this, and apparently the upscale is as good as it could possibly get. It's really good. It's so good. I would be interested in this, but again, I would hope it lands on BBC iPlayer because it really should be on BBC iPlayer. I'm not. I probably will get this eventually because I'd like to have a full DVD collection of Doctor Who, DVD Blu-ray collection, because all the bonus features, yum yum yum. It's weird that it still has no cover. It's like 3 weeks away, still no cover. It's really weird.
I don't imagine the cover's going to be anything spectacular. Like, it will be a picture with the Doctors on it, and there'll be some like vortex in the background and the original Doctor Who logo.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, this is something. This is something to add into like a kid's Christmas wish list. You know, this is
me. I'm that kid. Me. On November 16th, we have Adventures Across Space and Time. I feel like everything is called that right now. Is everything just called Adventures Across Space and Time?
An easy title.
This is what, another book? Is this another book? Yes. Adventures Across Space and Time brings together key academic, critic, and fan writings about Doctor Who alongside newly commissioned work addressing contemporary issues and debates to form a comprehensive guide to the wider Whoniverse. The perennially popular BBC series holds a unique place in the history of television and TV fandom. The longest-running science fiction show, the series and its fans' communities have tracked social media and cultural changes over its 60-year lifetime. Adventures Across Space and Time presents classic writings on Who and its fandom by leading scholars including John Fiske, Henry Jenkins, John Tulloch, and Matt Hills, but also represents writings and arts by fans, including fans who went on to become showrunners, writers, or even the Doctor himself, with contributions by Stephen Moffat, Chris Chibnall, Douglas Adams, and Peter Capaldi. This innovative anthology addresses Doctor Who's showrunners, doctors, companions, enemies, and collaborators, as well as issues and debates around queer fandom, intersectionality, the wokeness of the Doctor, fan media, including websites, podcasts, and vlogs, fan activism, and questions of race and sexuality in relation to the show and its spin-offs. It considers Doctor Who as a peculiarly British phenomenon, but also as one that has delighted, engaged, and sometimes enraged viewers around the world. This sounds like a really interesting book. Why weren't we approached? Well, you know, when they were writing this book, we probably had like -1 subscribers because we probably weren't even a show when this book first got commissioned. And so why weren't we approached? You know, we're the hit Doctor Who podcast. We're the go-to. Radio Scarrow, never heard of you. We're the guys that everybody comes to.
But yeah, this book sounds really interesting, and it's
Radio Free Scarrow. Sorry, I said their show name wrong.
And it's topics that we've kind of touched upon. You know, we just talked about the representation of a gay woman with The Doctor Falls a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
We've talked about wokeness in the past. We've
the woke mind virus infecting our show.
Obviously, we aren't scholars, and it's hard for us to talk about it in like an academic way. So it'd be interesting to read this topic from like a scholar's point of view about the history of Doctor Who and its representation throughout the years, and probably its sexism. I'd imagine this is part of it.
It sounds like it'd be a really interesting read.
Yeah, the paperback is about $30, but the hardback is $90, which is insane for a hardback.
Yeah, that is pricey. That is insane. How big is it? This must be a massive book. 312, I assume, pages. It says here. That's not that big. Interesting. But I'm mostly interested in reading the Moffat, Chibnall, Douglas Adams, and Capaldi. It's interesting. Douglas Adams contributed when he's been, I guess, because it's archived. I think he's been dead for 30 years, but they brought him back from the dead just for this book.
But it's weird that it says with contributions by Stephen Moffat, Chris Chibnall, and then Douglas Adams, because at the start of the sentence it's like, oh yeah, this must be brand new contributions. But then you mentioned Douglas Adams, who's been dead for like 35 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. And then Peter Capaldi tacked on at the end. But that's the section I'd be most interested in reading out of all of it. That's what really grabbed my attention. God, there's so many books coming out in November. And November
I wonder
16th.
why.
Yeah, on November 16th, we've got Doctor Who Whotopia, the ultimate guide to the Whoniverse. That's a really nice cover. That's a really nice cover.
Nice and sleek. It's nice and simple.
Yeah. Welcome to the Whoniverse. First stop everywhere. 6 decades may only be a handful of heartbeats to a Time Lord, but for Doctor Who, it's the adventure of several lifetimes. Evolving over 60 years, the world's longest-running sci-fi TV show has gifted us a universe of menacing monsters and unforgettable heroes. You might even call it a Whotopia. Now you can roam free through the Doctor's dimension as never before in this special commemorative book. For Doctor Who's Diamond Anniversary, join all the Doctors as each tells their own story, learn about the legions of legendary allies, and hear from the monsters' own mouths about what makes them tick. Find danger on alien worlds and threats here on Earth in all eras, and explore the gadgets, robots, spaceships, computers, and mind-blowing creations that crowd the never-ending corridors of Whotopia. Crowned with exciting new images and in full color throughout, Whotopia, the ultimate guide to the Whoniverse, is the essential celebration of 60 years of Doctor Who. This is another 300-plus page book that's releasing in the month of November about Doctor Who. This is insane. There's too many books that are too big coming out.
It is the #1 bestseller in social sciences references, which sounds like a wrong category for this book. Social sciences references.
I guess the social science of studying the show. I feel like I don't know. Yeah, social sciences feels wrong. But
because the number
seller.
The #2 seller is How to Talk to Women.
Probably bought by the same people that are buying this book.
Get her to like you and want you with effortless, fun conversations and never run out of anything to say. I should buy this.
Why? Why would anybody buy those books? I don't feel like they'd be useful. But cool. That's cool, I guess. Good for them. Interesting. Lots of books. Not what I'm probably going to get, but it sounds like it would be a good resource to have again.
Mm-hmm.
Event.
Yeah, so Russell.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happening on November 16th, but the day after is Children in Need on November 17th. And Russell T Davies says this is one of the dates we should really keep an eye out on. So, you know, Children in Need has a rich history with Doctor Who, of course. We've gotten like mini-sodes, and we just got the announcement of Millie Gibson at last year's Children in Need. So we're probably going to get something special, you know, a week before the anniversary starts. Children in Need, one of the biggest shows on BBC.
Another trailer.
Or a mini-sode.
Mini-sode, maybe a recap of everything that happened in the comic, an animated version of the comic that ran through Doctor Who magazine, because it's integral to the start of the 60th anniversary. We need to know what happened to the furries. We need to know.
We'll see what happens. I'm interested.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. And then, finally, at long last, after almost 2 hours of talking, we have gotten to the Big Finish releases. Ah, lovely, lovely comfort. I understand how this segment works. As we look at what's coming out for Big Finish in the month of November. First up, we have got Audacity, which we have already covered earlier on, so we will skip that and jump straight over to the War Master Rogue Encounters. Throughout his many lives, the Master has visited myriad places and planets. Some he has spared, others he has destroyed, but all have felt his presence, however fleeting. In the Time War, he helps a soldier save their world from a Dalek assault. On Earth, he helps a young woman discover the truth about her boyfriend's abduction. At the Sublime Port, he helps himself to a source of incredible power. And as the universe itself comes to an end, a lonely old man tries to help in any way he can, but the Master is always waiting. This is 4 stories, runtime by Tim Foley, Manhunt by Roka Patel, sorry if I pronounced that name wrong, The Sublime Port by James Goss, and Alone by Scott Handcock. Which is fun. It's a bunch of different masters in this story, isn't it? It's a heap of different masters throughout the timeline. Or is it
there's
just
only
Derek
2.
Jacobi? Just 2?
Yeah.
Just 2?
So the 2 stories that are really interesting in my eye is part 3, which is the Sublime Port, which co-stars Billis Manger, and you have yet to have a rogue encounter.
I am about to meet him in Torchwood.
Yes. You are like 2 or 3 episodes away. He is an interesting character. He doesn't get too much depth in Torchwood, unfortunately, but he appears in these audio dramas. He is such an interesting character. He's such a weird, eerie old man. He recently passed away, sadly, but this might be the last time he appears in Big Finish, but he is such an interesting character. You can never quite tell what his motivations are, but in an interesting way. He's such a weird character, you know. He has the ability to time travel without any device, so he just pops up from time to time. And of course, the next interesting one, which is my most interesting story from this, which I probably won't listen to, but you know, it's by Scott. It's Alone by Scott Handcock, who is of course the new script editor of Doctor Who. So he left this series to do Doctor Who proper, and it's the Master meeting Professor Yana, which is really interesting. I'm really interested by this, you know, to hear how they interact. This is interesting stuff.
Multi-master story without knowing it. It feels. I mean, isn't that just kind of the premise of the Fugitive of the Jadoon? Isn't that?
Guess.
But with the master, you know, with the Doctor meeting themselves, but themselves doesn't know they're meeting them because they've got their mind inside a watch.
Yeah, but but this time, I guess the Master will have a disguise, you know. The Master loves his disguises, so he would be disguised to meet himself, essentially, I'd imagine.
The only difference is he's wearing a wig. Other than that, 1-to-1 retelling of Fugitive of the Jadoon.
But yeah, the War Master is a series I really want to get into, because Derek Jacobi is the person who obviously was the Master for like 1 second in the show proper. He only had like 2 lines as the Master. It's terribly sad.
It is, because he would have been cool to see as the Master, and all of his Big Finish stuff does sound interesting, and I'm really curious as to what his version of the Master is actually like. It's a shame we'll never see him on screen be the Master again.
Unless he's in his 60th. It's not too late.
Yeah, maybe he is. You want to take this next one?
Yes, what we have next is Doctor Who, the 10th Doctor Chronicles Volume 2, Defender of Earth.
Lovely brief title.
Of subtitles. The Doctor's always loved the Earth. He witnessed its birth and watched it die. It's the home of some of his best friends, and even temporarily his as well. What?
Temporarily his home as well. And even temporarily his home as well. Yeah.
Okay, I lost the train there. Throughout its history, many alien species have tried to conquer the Earth. Unfortunately for them, the planet is defeated, and as these invaders are about to learn, the Doctor would do anything to save it.
Unfortunately for them, the planet is defeated, is it? The planet's defeated.
Defended. Oh dear. This is why I let Matthew do most of the reading. So we have 4 stories in this. We have The Thing in the Forest by Trevor Baxendale. We have The Opacity Factor by Carl Rowlands. Freedom of Death by Alice Cooper, I imagine. That'd be awesome.
Freedom or death. Freedom or death.
What did I say?
Freedom of death.
Oh, that's a freedom I wish I had. The Siege of Shackleton. Am I reading that? Yeah. By Una McCormick. And that's all the stories. And this is David Tennant without being played by David Tennant. I'm not sure why this exists.
I guess it's just a fun standalone David Tennant stories. The cover art's nice on this one. I actually like the cover art for once. It's very golden with a little hint of red and like a little gray alien dude, classic, and Torchwood alien guy in the back. It's nice. It's some nice cover art, and it's a David Tennant pose I've not seen on cover. It looks like a painting, like original art. I'm not sure where that's from.
The hand looks disconnected. That's not David Tennant's hand. That must be two different things.
Maybe. It's a good Photoshop job, though. I like it.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got...
Sorry, so Jacob Dudman is playing the Doctor here, not David Tennant. And, what's the point of doing these fake Doctor stories when David Tennant is just going to come back to Big Finish anyway? Once he's done with all the Doctor Who stuff, he's going to come back right to Big Finish. And if you waited like 2 years for this,
that train can't stop. The train can't stop. Big Finish got to keep going. There's too many stories for them to take a break. They can't afford to not produce Doctor Who stories. Go, 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 go. If you're not there, they'll replace you with a sound-alike. That's it. The shows don't stop. Like.
You want to take the next one?
Torchwood. Who done it? Who would murder an Ood? In the 43rd century, all of the Earth's empire waste goes to the recycling world of Paragulis 4. But has something else been sent there? Something worth killing for? The Torchwood archive sends Zachary Cross Flane to investigate, and he uncovers a terrible secret. The empire has a use for everyone, even after death. What's the chances that they get turned into food for the Ood? Food for the Ood. Food for the Ood.
I don't know.
And this is a character from that Devil episode that said he was in Torchwood, so they had to make him in Torchwood.
It's like the most bottom of the barrel Torchwood content. But apparently the first one that came out today, I believe, or last week, Torchwood Odyssey, was really good. So this is part of a trilogy, a second part of a trilogy. Apparently the first part is good, so I imagine the second part will be good. I imagine it'll be better. I imagine it will be better than Once and Future, because yikes!
Why did they call it Torchwood Odyssey and not Torchwood Odyssey?
That's my fault.
Odyssey is right there.
Yeah,
and you did Ood done it.
What is the next one going to be called? Hold on, I need to look for this.
Oh my god, there's Oracle.
Oracle.
Not Udical. Udical? Like you did a pun in the middle and not on the either side. This is an upsetting sandwich.
Our next story is a audio book rather than an audio drama, but it's almost like an audio drama because the reader of this audio book is I'm
on the edge of my seat. Who is it? Who could it possibly be?
Why isn't he in here? He's John Coleshaw, and he does a magnificent third Doctor impression. He is most famous for his fourth Doctor impression. He was on the TV show Dead Ringers for 1,000,000 years, and he did his Tom Baker character in that show. I will send you a link if you want.
Well, as fellow Time Lords, we must unite to solve this point. Join with me, Doctor.
What in?
Isomorphic brain contact. We must establish it. Time Lord to Time Lord.
Are you all right?
No. I'm in a situation of extreme peril. I have had to leave my time stream, go forward to the future, join you in your time stream, and have you help me.
Have you been in the pub?
For several millennia.
So I believe. I don't actually quite understand what you want me to do. Could you say it in English? I never could understand all that gobbledygook.
What a wholesome prank call.
Yeah, he's a very funny man. He does a really decent Tom Baker impression. That's most of his life, doing Tom Baker. He prank calls Sylvester McCoy, and Sylvester McCoy is very confused, thinks he's drinking.
He never once doubts that it's not Tom Baker, though, I think speaks wonders to how much of a strange dude Tom Baker is, where you can get a call like that and not think twice, like maybe this isn't Tom. No, this is what Tom's like.
But yeah, John Coleshaw was reading this book, Doctor Who: The Box of Terrors. After being framed for the destruction of entire civilization, the Third Doctor and Sarah Jane follow a strange comet to planet Earth. Meanwhile, the Fourth Doctor and his Sarah Jane are called to an intergalactic emergency. The beacons protecting the sandbox are failing. When the TARDIS crashes to the Earth before his eyes, the Fourth Doctor is reunited with his former self and another Sarah Jane. But are the four of them enough to keep the sandbox closed and whatever is within from getting out? From the cover alone, what do you think is inside the sandbox?
That's a hard question to answer. I don't think anybody, we would have to go through both the alpha and the omega of Doctor Who to really understand what could possibly be in this sandbox. I don't know what it could be.
But yeah, I never heard a Doctor story with Omega. That's an interesting thing, and two Sarah Janes meeting is interesting.
Yeah, it's fun having two Sarah Janes at different points in her life meeting. It's also fun Omega coming back. I kind of like to see Omega in Modern Who. I'd be interested to see what that's like.
I mean, he is going to appear in that K9 movie that's going to release in 2017, so any day now.
Oh yeah, I look forward to seeing that one. Got to try and catch that in theaters. Other stories we've got Doctor Who, the 11th Doctor Chronicles, Broken Hearts. He took her apart and she told him she was fine. She lied. He saved their world and told them they'd be safe. He was wrong. It sounds like a post you would read on Tumblr in 2012.
or on Facebook, and the comments would be, "What's wrong, babe?" And their reply would be, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it," or PM me. Like but what's interesting about this is it's a Matt Smith story with two robots from Sonic the Hedgehog, a lady and also Paul McGann's corpse stalking them in the background.
But yeah, this is Jacob Dudman again as the 11th Doctor. He must be in the running for playing the most Doctors, I'd imagine. Because he also just was the 10th Doctor. We just discussed him a few minutes ago.
Do you think he would ever get cast as his own version of the Doctor?
Maybe that'd be interesting if he went from an impersonation. I guess also John Coleshaw is another impersonator. He does the 3rd Doctor and the 4th Doctor in that audiobook. Yeah. So this is a month of impersonations. But yeah, Paul McGann is here. I'm not sure what his role is here, but he's here for some reason.
just sitting about, just listening in.
But yeah, this is the 4th box set in the 11th Doctor Chronicles, and I hear this box set, this storyline is really good, so it's something to check out, I guess. I really, in 2024, I am going to try and listen to more Big Finish. God knows where I'll find the time or the money, but we'll see how I manage.
An impossible task.
I started out the year trying to do this, and I just fell off the map completely. It's so difficult.
It is extremely difficult. There's too many things. And
so our last Big Finish release of the month isn't a audio drama or an audio book. It's an actual book. Who would have thought? This is Doctor Who, The Art of the Audio Adventures. It's a glossy hardback compiling 100 Big Finish Doctor Who audio drama cover artworks into a lavish coffee table book, and it's got a lot of contributions from people.
That is a lot of names. Yeah.
There's names like Anthony Dry and Simon Hulub,
Ryan Applin, Lee Binding, Anthony Dry, Claudia Garoni, Clayton Hickman, Simon Hullab, Lee Johnson, Anthony Lamb, Sean Longmore, Alex Mallison, Christopher Naylor, Mark Plaston, Jim Sangster, Carolyn Tankersley, Chris Thompson, Ralph Wildbank, and Tom Webster, plus commentary from Colin Baker, Paul McGann, John Coleshaw, and Tim Trelaw. I refuse to apologize if I pronounced any of those names wrong.
But yeah, this is a coffee book table. This is a coffee book. This is a coffee table book.
This is a coffee book. This is a coffee book table.
Look, I've made the same mistake in the past when we're discussing shit. I'm not sure why I always say that, but this is a coffee table sized book. That's
Coffee
better.
book table. A coffee book table.
You know, there should actually be a coffee table that's also a book. Imagine, I feel like that's a Seinfeld episode.
I'm just imagining a table covered in stains because you'd spill coffee. Surely you would spill coffee all over that book when you open it up to try and read, and it's like ridiculously large or small print. Like how big would the print be on that? Because if you're doing small print, you're gonna have to lean over the table, then you'll spill your drink. But if you do big print, then you're only gonna fit few words on each page, and the table's gonna become too big. So I don't think it's gonna work.
But this isn't a book I'm interested in. It's £40. I'm not interested in books just about book covers, essentially, you know? Like, would you buy a book that's just full of DVD covers? I wouldn't, honestly.
I would buy the DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool book if you're interested in the art of Big Finish, I guess. It's cool. That's a lot of fucking stuff coming out in November.
It's a lot of stuff coming out in November. And we're finally at the end of this news document. Hell yeah. Goddamn, November is going to be a busy month for the podcast. I'm tired just thinking about it. But hey, here we are.
So to recap, what we're doing next month is, if I scroll up, we're on November 3rd. We are doing An Adventure in Space and Time, which is the biopic starring David Bradley as William Hartnell. On the 10th of November, it's Torchwood Something Blue, which is the episode where Gwen gets married and also has an alien baby inside her, kind of like Alien Cubed. And on the 17th of November, we are doing another news podcast, and we're talking about what's happened so far in the 60th anniversary month. We're previewing the 60th anniversary because on November 9th, Doctor Who magazine is coming out, so we'll know more information about the 60th anniversary, and we can come up with theories and stuff, so that's going to be exciting. And then after the 25th of November, we are doing The Starbeast, which is also exciting. I can't wait. I'm so excited. New Doctor Who after 1 year of waiting. Incredible.
Yeah. That's insane. It's both been a quick year and a slow, like it feels like forever since we had New Doctor Who, but also like it feels like the power of the Doctor was like a couple months ago. It's insane. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, if you've missed it, the entire year we've been going through each Doctor in chronological order, and we have curated playlists on our YouTube channel. So if you love the 10th Doctor, you can go onto our YouTube playlist and find all the 10th Doctor episodes we've covered. Pick your favorite Doctor, listen to an episode or two, have fun, because we've really been having a lot of fun this month with a lot of subscribers and listeners and viewers. So
it's been a good month, best month ever for the podcast, actually.
Yes. So thank you to everyone who's been listening to us. It's been fantastic.
Listen to our 5-hour podcast on the Doctor Who movie, and just listen to that one on repeat, because that's the best one. It's the best bit of Doctor Who. If you don't like it, listen to that podcast, and I will tell you explicitly for 5 hours why you are wrong. Because it's an incredible movie.
Thank you for sticking us. Thank you for sticking with us.
Thank you for sticking us. Thanks for sticking us. I'd love being sticked by you.
Thank you for sticking us into your ears. Don't worry, we won't be here for long because we're wrapping up now.
We are. So thank you. If you made it this far, you can find us on Facebook at Who Watches Who, on Twitter /X/ is this even a working website anymore, at Watches Doctor, youtube.com /at Who Watches Who Pod, where you can see this podcast in video form. Woo, isn't that exciting? We're also in audio form anywhere you listen to podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. there's an RSS feed where you can plug us into your podcast app of choice if that's how you like to do things instead. If you are listening in audio form, be sure to leave a review. If you are listening in or watching on YouTube, leave a comment, say hello, give the video a like, hit the subscribe button. Apparently, if you say that, YouTube have a thing now where the buttons light up. Did you know this?
I didn't
they've
know
apparently
this.
apparently they've got I must be like an AI or something that listens out for the words like and subscribe, and when it hears those words the icons light up. I don't know if it's working or if it's implemented yet, but apparently that's a thing that's going to be happening. So like and subscribe.
Imagine if it auto subscribed for you every time we say subscribe. It either subscribes or unsubscribes. So we have to say an odd number of subscribes in an episode. What number are we at right now?
I don't know. Subscribe. Next week, we will be looking at An Adventure in Space and Time, the biopic movie. So look forward to that. It's something different, something new, something blue will be coming after with Torchwood. Wasn't that smooth? Wasn't that cool?
Lovely.
Until then, we will see you next week. As Christ, we've been recording for 2 hours. Bye-bye.
Bye.